Hey everyone, Christian here, and I'm going to do a non-palm review of a plant which is very popular in Florida and California. It is the white bird of paradise. The scientific name is Strelitzia nicolai, and it is from northern South Africa, and it does really well in pretty much all subtropical and tropical climates. It also does well in most Mediterranean climates. I wouldn't say it's a desert-loving plant, but it does grow in some very semi-arid climates. So as long as you're getting some rain or giving it some water, it should be fine in a desert climate if it gets some irrigation. So this may do well in, like, say, Phoenix. I'm not entirely sure, but I think it does fine there. Yeah, so this is, like I said, from northern South Africa. The climate there is semi-arid, about maybe 15-20 inches of rain a year. It is going to be a Mediterranean-style climate, much like the Los Angeles area. But the reason these do so well in Florida is really they tend to just grow more if you give them more water. So because Florida gets more water naturally, they tend to grow quite well. And these are they're very popular here because they're very hard to kill. This was planted as a 15-gallon in early 2015, and so this is about 3.5 years old from a 15-gallon. So it's obviously in the 65 to 95-gallon range. You can see this is the main trunk here. Although this is probably multiple plants. Usually one plant will put out a main trunk like this, and maybe 2 or 3 on the side. This is probably 3 or 4 plants. That's the way that they plant them. They just throw a bunch in to make it a very hedgy type plant. It should be a little more open. It should be like maybe the main trunk, and then this and that, and maybe one more, and that's about it. But that's not they just want to make sure that it's as covering as possible. So anyway, that's unfortunately the main plants don't grow as fast. So this should be maybe a little bit bigger or a little bit fatter, but it still looks pretty good. It's just kind of hard to tell what is where, I guess you could say. So it is a relative of the gingers and bananas, and also of the traveler's tree, Ravenala madagascariensis. And it does put out a very nice flower, which this one is kind of still, and you can see the white in that white bird there. If that were an orange bird, it would have an orange kind of neck to it, and beak, I guess you could say. So right here, and this one's actually pretty good shape too. This, the actual top to it is kind of dead. So inside there you would find the seed. They kind of come in these little pods, and sometimes they have some color to them, and you just kind of pick them out. They have this oval shape to them. They're very easy to germinate. They are just give them a lot of heat. Well draining soil. These things do like the well draining soil. They don't want to sit in water. They do like a lot of water. Just they like it running by their roots. So yeah, they grow a lot like a banana does. Just their water requirements aren't as much, and they will grow as fast as you can give them water. But the main trunk is good to kind of focus on here. You can see another flower starting to come out right here, much like in a banana would. It kind of just out of the side of the crown, or out of the out of the crown. And it is also, another term I'm going to use during this video is distichous, meaning growing in 2 directions. So if I were to take this leaf out of the equation here, you can see that this is only growing perpendicular to me, and that's really part of its nice looking, I guess you could say. The looks of the plant are greatly enhanced by the fact that it is distichous. There are a few distichous palms, like Willikia distica and Arania. I forget which species at the moment, but there's a couple species of Arania that do grow distichiously. Now there's tristichiously, which also grows in 3 directions, like the spindle, the triangle, so this two-dimensional growth is kind of interesting, and it does kind of give like if you get one growing, say, perpendicular to me and one growing at a 45-degree angle, and they can kind of grow at all different, as you can see, they kind of grow at all different angles to me. So that'll kind of give you more views on the leaf. Like you can see the side, you can see You can see one's coming out towards you. You can see ones are unfurling towards you, one's kind of growing away. So unfortunately, it's not a big fan of the wind, so most of these leaves will be tattered unless they're protected by something like a wall, something to that effect. And but they do still look nice even as a tattered leaflet. So they're actually really easy to transplant too because of the nature of their roots. The roots are kind of like big rubber bands, and just can be easily dug up much like a succulent can or a banana can. If you ever dug a banana, you know that they will, as long as you just get the roots, you should be fine. So if you find one of these in a yard, this happens a lot in Florida, you know, a house gets sold or just it's getting rebuilt and people don't want the landscape, sometimes you can knock on a door and get a free plant. So that's a little tip. That goes for any plant, not just the bird of paradise. So I'll find a good specimen to do with an orange bird, and then there's also the stemless bird of paradise, Strelitzia junistia, and that's a little bit rare. I believe I know a good specimen for it. So that's about it. I would say, well, for cold hardiness, I would say at least 9, maybe into the high 8s, and so far as zones go. And it really doesn't matter if it's humid or Mediterranean climates. These grow well in all parts of cold parts of Central Florida, so I would imagine 20 degrees is about where it starts to burn. Although, again, I don't live in those climates, so I'm not sure exactly where it will start. So I hope that was of some use as far as the cold hardiness. I feel like sometimes when I am reviewing a palm or a plant that's quite cold hardy, my cold hardiness is a little bit off, because many people who watch this vlog live in a climate where they would know actually better than I would. So anyway, I hope that the information was useful and you enjoyed the vlog. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe and see many more plant videos like this. And if you have any questions about birds of paradise, traveler's trees, or bananas, although I should probably cover bananas in a whole different vlog, leave them down below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can, and thank you for watching.